That's the end. Jordan, you springy, bouncy, sneaky, sadistic little shite. Oh god, okay. So, haven't written a huge amount down from this because this didn't seem very much like a. It didn't seem like a hugely eventful episode. Like, stuff did happen, but it's like I wasn't like, I wasn't always like taking a lot of stuff out of this, because like it just seemed like it definitely seemed like more of an episode to be kind of listening in and watching what was happening, as opposed to actually taking stuff in, taking notes even. But yeah, I mean, Dexter discovered the surveillance equipment. I mean, again, that question about the baby monitors, like I mean, I don't really know how they work besides from like a kind of a one-way kind of camera, or at least a two-way camera, kind of, mainly one-way. But like I didn't think baby monitors could actually pick up signals from other cameras, because with a baby monitor it must be its own kind of frequency. And with the police one, it's like, since the camera that Lydia was using was like it's police tech, it's a police surveillance camera, that must be like that has to be technology that's harder to intercept or harder to hack or something. So like, if something is like I mean, could something as simple as a baby monitor really like pick up that kind of signal? Maybe not, but that is how he discovered that kind of that signal coming in. And especially since Harrison's not there, so he wouldn't really be using the baby monitor for anything else. But he did discover it. But he did kind of he like, until having discovered it was Liddy in the van, he was under the guise of it being Quinn. And I think that's actually interesting, because I think for one thing, I think Liddy like had no choice, because he was on the suspension and everything. He had no choice but to use another officer's name as cover, and since it was Quinn that came forward to him with this investigation opportunity, he used Quinn's name as a guise for everything. But I think even after Quinn himself called off his end of the investigation, like since Lady continued it, I think he figured it was a better idea to kind of use Quinn as a cover. So on the one hand, it's using him as like a shield. So if anything does happen, Quinn's name is all over that kind of off the records investigation. So if anything does happen, Quinn's the one who goes down for it. And on the other hand, I think it is definitely just something like him just being a little shit, and just kind of continuing to drag Quinn's name through the mud with that investigation, and just continuously using his name, like, you came forward to me with this investigation, you started it, so now I might be finishing it, but I'm finishing it with your name. So that was that. But now Mr. Stan Liddy is dead. I kind of did hope that he wouldn't kill him, like maybe just knock him out or something, but like maybe tackle him, disarm him, and then knock him out. I didn't think. I mean, I know I said, someone has to shut Stan down, and like I think subconsciously I was kind of referring to, subconsciously I was referring to actually killing him, because he has information that like can't really get out, and even he was saying like, he wants to, he was there to film Dexter's confession. He wanted to give everything that he had on Dexter into the police and become a police officer again. So he wasn't going to go down without a fight, and he wasn't willing to give up any of that information or go down nicely. So killing him does seem like it was a last resort, obviously, but it was also the only other option that they could actually go for. He tried everything else, well, the stuff that he had a chance to try out. So killing him left was the only other option. But that was brutal, though. That was brutal, like slowly driving that knife in and actually seeing it going in ever so slowly. That was fucking brutal. That really was. But he did. I think he is gonna go back to deal with Stan once all the stuff with Jordan Chase is over, because he can't leave Stan's body rotting away in the van forever. He threw away the laptop and like disposed of the tape as well. So yeah. But Stan Liddy is officially dead, so no more mysterious investigations on Dexter. But I'm wondering if Quinn will actually catch onto that the blood dropping on his shoe, because like it was like one drop that just fell on the side of his chin, like a lighting, like it wasn't like a Green Goblin in Spider-Man 1 situation. He couldn't actually hear the blood dropping, or he didn't feel it or hear it dropping against his shoe. But then again, it was a light enough drop that he wouldn't really feel or hear anything. But at the same time, I thought, he might like look down at his phone, then maybe look down at the ground, like just to see the blood dripping down and try and force it open. But luckily, that's not what happened. He did actually just give up and walk away eventually. So yeah, but I'm hoping he doesn't actually catch on to Stan's death or anything, and he just kind of feels like, oh, maybe he actually took my advice and actually left it alone and left Miami or something. But I don't know. But Stan is dead. Dex and Lumen seemed genuinely a lot closer in this, and I think I for one quite easily came to terms with the two of them like ending the episode last time the way they did, and with this it's like they seemed a lot chummier, like not chummier, they just seemed a lot more like open with each other, like physically as well as like verbally as well, like they were like, like he was resting his head on her shoulder, she was going down like kissing his head, and they kissed each other at the pier. They seemed genuinely a lot closer since then. It like to them, like it wasn't just sex, it wasn't just like like one night of physical intimacy, but it was actually emotional intimacy as well. Like they like I feel like there is definitely a more eloquent there is definitely a more eloquent way to put it than they've got shit going on or whatever. But it may not even be fully blown, like maybe not fully blown love. It could be love, but just not something that they can actually call love yet. But I feel like it's definitely something that they're actually enjoying in the moment, and like they don't really have any regrets about it. They definitely deeply care for each other, and they've grown close in the time that they've had. So with this episode, like those kind of those smaller moments definitely showcased that as well, and they showcased it really well, I might add. But I did really like it. I think they just seem so cute together, and it reminds me of what Dexter had with Rita, but it doesn't remind me of Dexter and Rita, if that makes sense. Like Dexter and Rita, it took a long time for them to be emotionally and physically intimate with each other, and when they did, they just started to they lost it with Trinity. Like did this? I'd say this is a good enough time after Rita's death, because of the fact that Dexter is not like a normal person. Like he, like, for one thing, like talking about Dexter as a person is just like a fucking 72-hour long discussion. Like it will take days to actually analyze him as a human being and as a person, and how his mind works as well, like him being a serial killer and all. But like the fact that if you go back and look at season 1, I was Blind Wave recently, one of my favorite reaction channels. They actually recently started watching Dexter, and like seeing their reaction to the pilot episode, I was reminded how much of like I was reminded not only of like what Dexter was like back then, but how far he's come as well. Like there's still so much about social interaction and kind of like social kind of communication that he doesn't understand, but he has come a long way since then, and there is still stuff that he does understand and stuff that he doesn't understand, but he still somehow manages to pull off. So with this, it's like you can see how far he's come in terms of actually feeling love for someone, like, having been raised all of his life. Again, like, with Rita, that was his biggest accomplishment as well, like, having been raised by Harry all of his life, just, being told, like, because of what you are and what you do, you can never have a real family. Like, you can use love and, relationships and shit as a cover, but you can never actually dedicate yourself to that full time. You can never have both worlds, and he tried it with Rita and it didn't work, and he's not really trying that with Lumen. Like, he's not going to marry her after killing Jordan Chase or anything, but he is still working his way back up to finding something again, finding that light, that simple joy of actually connecting to someone and actually being able to confide and be himself. Like with Rita, he could never fully do that. He could be happy that he had someone in his life, but she never knew who he really was. And with that, like, he lost the opportunity to ever tell her, but it was because of what he did that he lost her. But with Rita, with Lumen, it's because of who he is and what he does that he found Lumen. And now it's like he's allowed her to kind of not embrace that darkness, but he's allowed her to fight back in the way that he fights. So they've connected through that, and they've both been a helping kind of hope in each other's lives, and with this, like, you can really see how that brings them even closer. And even in this episode, he said, at first he tried to send her away because he didn't want to see her die, and now he doesn't want to have to see her go. So I mean, it's the penultimate episode, so I don't know what the finale has in store for us, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared, and I'm scared for Lumen. I'm hoping if Jordan does anything to her, I will snapping him out of existence, with the stones. That would be too much of a mercy. That'd be too much. I'd probably it would be more. It'd probably be better to introduce him to Negan and Lucille. Just introducing him to them. Just that would probably be more satisfying to watch and to kind of actually have happen. But yeah, no, but like Dexter and Lumen, I am liking how they are so far, and I definitely ship them. Definitely shipping them. But I am hoping this is. I'm hoping this lasts, because because I don't know if she is gonna leave. I don't know what to think about the chances or the after effect of her leaving after all of this blows over, after they defeat Jordan Chase and kill Jordan Chase, and after they get all this Barrel Girl stuff over and done with. I don't know what the future kind of holds for Lumen, like if she can actually move to Miami and start a new life there, or what's gonna happen. But I don't want to see her go. I like Lumen too much. Like I've actually grown attached to her, which is the one thing you should never do in a TV show. Never get too attached to any of the characters, not even the main characters, because there are TV shows out there that actually kill off the main character. But I mean, I don't know if this is going to be one of them, but there are TV shows out there that have like many, and they have like coexisting main characters, like numerous coexisting main characters, and like they kill them off. I think like one of the most popular shows for doing that is Game of Thrones. But I mean, I haven't actually caught up on all that yet. I've yet to start season 2, and the final season is coming this year, so it just shows you how far behind I am. But yeah, I mean, I've grown too attached to Lumen, and if anything happens to her, I will die just a little bit on the inside, but I'll be bawling like a baby. So yeah, but I'm hoping nothing bad happens to Lumen. I'm hoping we can see more of her and Dexter together. But if she does leave of her own choice, then I mean, because she did stay exclusively, like, she did stay in Miami exclusively to get rid of these guys and to actually see this through to the end. So if she does decide to leave after having killed Jordan Chase of her own accord, then I guess I can live with that. It wouldn't really be a kind flame to the Dexter ship, but I guess I can live with that. Guess so, but I'm just really happy with the way things are between them right now, and part of it seems good to be true, but another part of it seems like Dexter does still deserve happiness in his life, and so does Lumen, and they found each other in the cruelest of circumstances, but they actually managed to build each other back up through those dark circumstances, and they've actually shown that they are good for each other and they are good to each other. So I think even without all the serial killing going on, I don't doubt that they'd be a good couple together. So I mean, again, that's something I'd like to see developed, like them beyond the serial killing, like them actually being like a normal kind of couple, or being like two normal people who live together, otherwise known as a couple. But yeah, I mean, we can only see. So far, they do seem to be much closer and much more comfortable with each other and much happier. So I'd like to see more of that developed. Thank you very much. But yeah, what else? Deb closing in on the Barrel Girls case more and more and more, and I feel like these loose ends are going to be tied up in a very kind of coexistent way, in the sense that like Deborah and Dexter are going to catch on to Jordan Chase at the same time potentially, but maybe not in the same way. Like like in their own ways, but at the same time, like, you know, maybe or at different times even, but like Dexter is gonna kill him, but he knows that Deborah is gonna have to catch on to Jordan Chase in order to close the investigation. Like, otherwise it's going to be too many people who just seemingly vanished off the face of the earth. So he's going to give her the win as well. So they're going to like kill Jordan Chase together, him and Lumen, and then once they're throwing away all the kind of like waste and remains, he's going to leave the body somewhere somewhere suitable for Deborah to find, so they can cash that in as another dead body, and the vigilante can kind of go at peace. Because as far as Deborah's theory goes, the vigilante is only hunting down all the guys that they know of. That there's no one else that was involved in the Barrel Girls case. So as soon as Jordan Chase is taken down, there's no one else for the vigilante to kill. So then the vigilante can finally, you know, rest at peace, and they can finally move on with their lives. So then that's gonna not only bring the Barrel Girls case to a close, but also give them like the comfort of knowing that the vigilante isn't gonna go around killing anyone anymore. Because they've already had enough trouble with vigilantes, I feel like, what with the Bay Harbor Butcher and everything. So this one, it's, you know, it's definitely more. It's definitely a lot more compressed as well. Because with the Bay Harbor Butcher, that was just like a new criminal every week. But with this one, it's a definitive kind of list of people that the vigilante is after, and they don't really see any reason for them to go after anyone else. So it would definitely make sense for them to think, you know, like now all the guys on the list are down for the count, so the vigilante has no more business, and they might just go back to doing whatever and just hopefully living a somewhat peaceful life. But yeah. And I feel like Deborah and LaGuerta's kind of friendship in this in this episode kind of hit an interesting point as well, because they've developed a lot as people as well. And like, you know, like going back to season 1, you can remember how hostile and kind of how judgmental she was towards Deborah, like, you know, and I think someone actually did explain it to me in one of my reactions for season 1, that it was because, like, with Deborah, she had she had an easy time of getting into the police force because her father was Harry. He was already a cop, so she kind of had that kind of background and that kind of name hanging over her head, like, oh, she's Harry Morgan's kid, so she's, you know, she deserves a chance, she'll make a good detective and everything. Whereas with LaGuerta, she had to actually fight through likely just bounds of discrimination and oppression and sexism as well, and just actually climb the ladder herself and show the people around her that she was good at her job and that she could do it. So she had to fight the hard way, whereas with from her perspective, Deborah actually just got everything handed to her on a plate, and she, you know, she solved cases, sure, but, you know, she had an easier time of actually getting up the ladder and stuff as well. Like people were actually helping push her up, whereas with LaGuerta, it was people just kind of taking away the steps every time she climbed up. So, you know, because of that, I think in the beginning she was very kind of hostile towards her because of that, like, so. But then as the seasons progressed, you could see that, you know, she was kind of seeing Deborah for the good detective that she really was. And maybe this is true, like her father was a cop, so she had an easier time of actually getting in. But at the same time, she has still faced struggles of her own, and, you know, at the end of the day, there's no chance that she wouldn't have faced even the slightest bit of trouble that LaGuerta did face. Maybe not to the same level, but, you know, she would have still faced somewhat the same kind of troubles. And she had the whole kind of drama going on after season 1, like where people were calling her like Mrs. Ice Truck Killer and stuff, and just a whole bunch of other shit going on, and like that was traumatic enough for her. And like from then on, like we've seen their kind of relationship being developed to the point where they can actually both respect each other and help each other out and understand how their job works, like for both of them, and how like their job kind of connects them and everything. But there have been times, and especially with this season, with the Santa Muerta case, there were times where, you know, like, she wouldn't really take Deborah's suggestions or, like, her ideas as a cop into consideration, and because she was the higher authority, she was like the superior kind of officer there, she was in charge of the whole thing, overall, that is, because that her word at the end of the day counted for more, because she was a superior kind of level of authority. So then because of that, like, you know, I think she did understand that she still had to take some semblance of authority, but at the end of the day, she was like, you know, since like in a more direct fashion, Deborah was in charge of the investigation. It made more sense to her, and it was easier for her in that sense to actually throw her under the bus. But also to actually kind of, you know, put her own ideas ahead of Deborah's and think, you know what, this is what's best for the investigation. But there have been, like, it's been a mixture between them, I think. Like, there have been times when she's kind of put herself above Deborah, and there have been other times where she's actually put herself on an equal playing field and actually taken Deborah and seen Deborah for the good cop that she actually really is, and for a cop that's actually good at her job as well. But I think with this, it actually kind of hit that with Deborah. She just feels like LaGuerta is, at times, she is like the last person she can go to for support or like for something to do with the case. But then LaGuerta proved her wrong by saying, you know what, you know, like, I do believe you. Like, it seems kind of hard to comprehend, but I do believe your theory. So she did call in an old favor from a judge and pull through that with that court order. So I feel like at times they both surprise each other. Like Deborah does kind of prove LaGuerta wrong, and vice versa as well. So I feel like that's an interesting kind of dynamic on their friendship. But yeah, so that is pretty much all I have from this episode. I'm trying to think if I've forgotten anything, but I don't think I have. But oh yeah, no, Emily's dead now as well. I saw that one coming, actually. I saw that one coming because it seemed like with Jordan, his anger management was just off the charts. Like he had none. He had no anger management. He could not manage his anger at all. And like Emily kept talking over him, and she kept kind of like contradicting him and going against his word and everything. And I feel like that was because of the change of the environment, because of, you know, or like the addition to the environment. Because when they're alone, she knows that there is nothing to stop him from hurting her. There is nothing to stop him from doing anything. So she has no choice but to kind of play along with his kind of with his kind of manipulations, and anything he says, just agree with it. Anything he asks you to do, just do it, because it's just you and him, and he could easily overpower her. He could easily kind of manipulate her or torture her even further. But with Lumen now in the mix as well, like, on the one hand, it's another person there, so, you know, like, if he does try anything on Emily, like, she would at least hope that Lumen would jump in and try and stop him. But also because he knows that now there is another victim, like she knows that Lumen is another victim, but now she's in the same room, so if anything does happen to her, she can, I mean, it's probably not something she thought a lot about at the time. But I mean, she did say, like, you know, like, oh, like you never said you'd kill her. This isn't part of the deal or anything. So I feel like anything she did try, if Jordan did try anything, it would at least give Lumen the chance to escape. Because I think deep down, even Emily knew she was too far gone. I feel like that was like part of the subtext hidden behind that scene. Like, even Emily knew that she was too far gone, and she was too far gone for like for her to be able to stop Jordan from doing anything to her if she tried anything. Whereas with Lumen, she's more mentally stable than Emily is, so she has a lot more to kind of work through and to fight through, or a lot less to fight through, that is. But you know, she also has more like courage to actually fight back. So even if one of them has to survive, it's better for it to be someone who can actually like stand up and be a voice for the victims, which is definitely going to be Lumen. So I feel like in that sense, it was kind of like self-sacrificial on her end. But I do still feel really bad that she died, and I hate Jordan for doing that to her. But that's just the kind of little shit he is. But yeah, R.I.P. Rest in very, very sweet and soft peace to Emily, because she deserved a lot better than that. She did not deserve to be beaten to death by Jordan. But I'm just hoping he gets twice as what's coming to him. I just hope he gets twice as he gets hit twice as hard by Dexter and Lumen, which I'll be looking forward to very much in the season finale. But now he has Lumen in his hands now. He has Lumen in his captivity, so I don't know what kind of trick he's gonna pull there. Like maybe forcing Dexter to watch as he flies off with her, or saying like, you come after me and I'll kill her, but you're gonna let me and her go, leave this country, or whatever. Or maybe he's gonna try and make Dexter watch as he kills her or tortures her. I don't know. He's a fucked up dude. He could probably try anything. But I am not looking forward to seeing Lumen getting hurt. I do not want to see that. I don't want to see any of that. But we will see. We will definitely see. So that is all I have written down for this. But if there is anything I left out, then please do let me know in the comments. But yeah, that was Dexter Season 5, Episode 11, titled Hop a Freighter. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment or either the episode and what you think is going to be coming up in the finale. And yeah, that's it. So I will see you guys next time.